Nathan, you want to go ahead and start us off?
How we doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Nathan Baird from the Indy Star here. If I'm not mistaken, this is the third time in your career that you've been in a situation like this, been with a head coach one place, and then come with them to a transition to another school. I'm just wondering what you've learned through those other examples as to the best way to do that, that you feel like that Purdue needs to now achieve going forward.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've been coaching at this level 25 or 26 years. I'm not completely sure. When you get old, you forget. But I've only worked for three head coaches, which these days is pretty cool, I think. I started with Houston Nutt, and we went from Arkansas to Ole Miss. Um, then I was with Justin Fuente. We went from Memphis, where me and Barry got connected, to Virginia Tech, and then got back with Barry, with UNLV here to Purdue. But I think all of them, I mean, your head's kind of spinning. I just think because of the change and just learning the team, and you got new staff. I think your mind gets in a little bit of just a whirlwind, and getting comfortable with the routine. Of course, for older people like routine, so them adjustments get a little harder, as you get older. But I've been really blessed. The coaches I've worked with, when you talk about special teams, I mean, it's going to start with that guy. I mean, it's the emphasis, through Coach Odom and through the head coaches, how it gravitates to the players and really to the coaches, because everybody is so strongly involved with this, to get it to work the way you want to. So, I'm still getting adjusted. It'll probably take me through spring ball before I feel, real comfortable, just with our personnel and with our staff. And, you got to coach them guys up too, because it's different for them guys also. Me and Coach Odom know what we want and what we expect. We got to get that relayed to the coaches and players.
Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, can you assess the current kicking situation and moving forward, how you may if you may want to add any place kickers in that spring window or not?
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, right now, Spencer coming back from last year, and he was a true freshman, and I know he struggled at times. But really, he's our only kicker. We do have a couple guys. It's kind of interesting that we had a little tryout, and we actually had a couple quality guys that we can talk about later for spring ball, just to hopefully push Spencer and give us, just some more legs to not get too tired. So them guys could come involved more later or into the summer. But our plans right now is to go find a kicker in the spring, hopefully an experienced guy through the portal to come compete for the job. We brought in Sam Dubwig, who was a backup at Arkansas that I was familiar with, recruiting him when I was at UNLV. Has a lot of talent, still young. He's here with Bennett right now, who's been here for 3 years now. So we'll have to evaluate that situation through the spring and see where we're at, if we need to move. This number with the 105 is a little concerning, for most special team coaches around the country, because, typically I've had eight guys on the roster. Now it's kind of, the numbers kind of set around the country at six. Some people may stretch it to seven. I've even heard people go to five. So how we balance that is going to be, I think, really, really important, when it comes to that number. So I've never been through it, so it'll be probably experiencing on the move a little bit too.
Sam, go ahead.
You're just gonna have to find athletes who can also kick, I guess.
Well, we've talked about a lot of things, so it's
Uh, you
kind of
mentioned,
great.
oh, I'm sorry. You mentioned working with only three head coaches. When you're a special teams coach, how much trust does there have to be there with the head coach when you want to do things like a fake punt or a fake field goal or whatever it is? I imagine it's not just a special teams coach's decision to kind of do that stuff. And I know people saw what you did at UNLV most recently, obviously, but there's got to be some freedom there to trust the special teams coach to go out and do those things and succeed at it.
Oh, no doubt. Well, first of all, you got to have the time to work them things, and usually we start with a base 3 to 4 fakes, and whatever one we install them in fall camp, and we kind of choose to the looks that we're getting for the week. Now, Coach Odom is a gambler, which is awesome. He likes to. A lot of these guys, man, they just want they just want to get the ball out of there and don't take no risks. So a lot of it depends on how it looks throughout the week and the execution with that. But we'll have different gadget things going into every game. So he allows us to work on them, which is very important because if you don't, they usually don't have much success, and they can be game changers when they do work. Now, all the calls go through Coach Odom, so that way, if they don't work, I always kind of look at him, but because he's always pulling on me to call them and asking me if they're there early in the game after we get a picture of the opponent.
Other questions? Nathan, go ahead.
Yeah. What is the philosophy? I assume you and Coach Odom would share it as to which athletes you want on special teams. Are you comfortable using a lot of position starters on special teams? And I guess similarly, do you use it as I guess a fundamentals teaching opportunity also for some of the younger players?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all comes down to personnel, right? Regardless if it's offense, defense, or in the kicking game. In the past, we've always tried to use good balance. And what I mean by that is your starters, for the most part, will be heavily involved in at least two of the special teams, the four between punt return, kickoff, and kickoff return. Obviously, punt is so critical, so that'll involve a lot of defensive starters at time. But I think you got to have a core of guys that are backups, hopefully in that 8 to 12 range that you're counting on to be heavily involved with all four units. And then we search for guys that may not be scholarship guys, or maybe this is their only role. They're not a backup on defense or offense. I think it builds great team chemistry. And we've been able to kind of mesh them guys all together to put good units out there. So we train a lot of them and eval a lot of them, and that'll be big in the spring. And our drill work, just like you brought up, is they do correlate to defensive football or offensive football at times. So we're getting value with them sides of the ball also. So, but we try to have good balance, but we're going to play the best we can put out there. Now, some of these guys get gassed a little easier than others, and some can run all day, as far as the starters. So you've got to eval that through the spring and fall camp.
Back to Tom.
Just obviously being a special teams guy, we need to get your viewpoint on it's just the future kickoffs. We've seen the NFL change their kickoffs. What do you think of that? And you think if that's ever going to matriculate down into the college game?
I hope it doesn't. I mean, there's something about putting the ball on the 35-yard line and lining up a a unit there that's taking the line and playing with speed down the field. I know we're all concerned about collisions. The kickers are getting so good too, or the touchbacks are just getting at a higher percentage also. But I mean, I tell our guys, I mean, what a great feeling to line up in the opening kick of the game. And you're lined up at the 30, getting ready to run with speed and having to avoid and bully guys on the back end, and how football was kind of brought, how it all started, and of course I love the way it is. And I watched the NFL some, and it's hard to comment. I have not investigated that. I know it's been brought up that it could go to go to college too, but don't know. I'm sure the schemes are totally different. It's more man blocking where you can double and do some things, on the kickoff return unit, that are a little bit different. So I love the way we do it now, and I hope it stays that way.
Back to Nathan.
Yeah. Now that you've had an extended look at three different head coaches, I'm just curious what you think is unique about Barry, or what is maybe the most essential to why he has had the success he's had.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he's really, really, he tells you like it is. He's straightforward with our team, with our coaches, with what he says. You can believe, and there's a trust factor there that I think is really, really important. The bottom line is, if you want success, you got to go work for it. It takes great sacrifices and great dedication. You got to build pride into your team and your school, and your fans. And he's just got a way of doing that. And I just know the way, what he says is the way it's going to be. And he don't leave that. You either get it done or you don't get it done. You either win or you lose. And we got a lot of work to do, and our team's got to understand the work we've got to put in to go have success. But he's awesome to work for. He's also a very good friend of mine, and that's the reason I'm here and feel so blessed that Purdue has brought me here. And I know we're all thankful, and we look forward to future successes and sharing it with everybody.
I assume UNLV was your first experience with the Winning Edge program. I'm just curious what impact you saw that have.
It was pretty ugly this morning, so which we expected. I know most programs have the kind of the circuit training deal, but I mean, our first goal is we've got to build great habits of taking that one single rep and putting our maximum effort into it. We got to learn how to strain, and we got to learn, when you talk about toughness, it's not just the physical toughness, it's the mental toughness of being able to push yourself during tough, hard times. And you'll hear the word finish a million times in this building, and it takes tough people, to get this thing going, and it takes tough people to play this game. And you got to have great habits to do that. You've got to do it over and over and over again. And this is just kind of the starting point to it with our workout this morning.
Any more questions for Coach? All right. Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Look forward to meeting you guys, man. We appreciate you so much now.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.